Stampers. My name is Linda Bettinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'd like to show you how I made this suite of cards and tags. This is my alternatives to the October paper pumpkin kit. And I'm not going to demonstrate the items that are in the kit. I'm going to show you what else I did with that kit. And what I decided to do, in this kit you get all kinds of really wonderful papers, and you get this amazing card base. And I'll tell you that what I tried to do here was I confined myself to using no more than one card base, and I treated it like a one-sheet wonder, where you chop it up into all different kinds of pieces and you end up with a number of cards made with the same paper. This paper is just so pretty and it lends itself to so many things. I decided this was my total waste out of one card. Now, I did add some white card bases and some old olive pieces, and I added a little bit of red ribbon, and that is pretty much it, except for these, I don't know if you've seen these or not. They are called boxwood wreath embellishments, and I got a box of these and I hadn't used them, and I decided to see if I could put them to work with this this suite of cards. So let me show you what I did with my one piece here. I had enough to cut out, and I went ahead and made a shaker card, very small one. I cut out a wreath out of the layering circles dies, and I used the first and the third to create that little piece. And then out of the circle, I cut the ends off of it and turned it into one of the presents on one of my 3x3 cards. So I didn't let anything go to waste. And then I put this banner on here so that it would have the matching plaid paper. Then I used some of the stamps to create a little interest on the inside. The next one I did, I turned a couple of pieces of the plaid paper into little trees, and I tore paper, white paper here, to make some snowbanks. And I actually grabbed the wrong greeting. I was trying to use the greetings just from the stamp set, but there was one on my work surface that I was using for another project, and so it got in here. But this one has, I went ahead and used the stamp from the set here and put a few of those darling little snowflakes in there, and then used a little piece of red ribbon to kind of perk things up. With this one, I used the layering ovals to create this cutout piece here, and then I used the embossing folder, the snowflake embossing folder, and the glad tidings, and made that one. Then with this one, I used the stamps and created a little DSP and used one of the stamp sets, one of the stamps in the stamp set here, and I'll show those to you in a minute. And this is one that I think if they offer the refills, this is one I definitely will get, because as you can see, I made, I think it was 5 full-side cards, 4 3x3 cards, and a couple of tags out of just one of the cards, and I think you get 10 card bases in this. So you really could do your entire Christmas, or almost your entire Christmas cards and tags and matching little gift notes, etc., off of just one card. And on this one, I used the snowflakes on the inside. This one, I tore off the edge. I used a little bit of glitter on these, and I used another one of these wreaths, and I put all different kinds of our embellishments on here, including some of the pieces that came with the kit. You get stars, and you get these blue sequins, and then there's an iridescent colored sequin, and I don't see it right here just now. We'll get it in a minute, and I'll show you how to use that. And then I went ahead and I used, as though I were decorating it with Christmas baubles, I used a couple of the glitter glossy accents here to put on my wreath, and then put glad tidings of joy. And I got a little smudge on the inside of this one. Put a little piece of paper here for interior decoration. Then I used one of the pieces that was pre-printed to just make a very simple 3x3 card that you could use as a gift tag. Then out of the scrap, I took a couple of little pieces and made some presents and put a little bit of the snowflakes in the background just for you, and put some snowflakes on the inside. I had little pieces left, so I made what looked like Christmas ornaments, and I used glossy accents over the top of this to give them a little bit of shine, and glad tidings of joy. And then a last one where I had a little square of the material left, so I cut it and spread it out, put my glad tidings of joy here, a little tiny piece that was left on the inside here. And my gift tags, I used that same piece that I did here and made a gift tag, and I didn't put my to from on here because I thought it would be kind of fun actually to handwrite the person's name in there, or do the to from on the back and put a little message in here. And then the last tag, I used one of the stamped pieces in the kit that had these pine boughs, and I had just a little piece of the plaid left. And so all of these pieces were made using one card base, so like a one-sheet wonder. And I'm going to show you how I did that, and what we're going to do is not make all of them. I think we'd be here for a month. But I'm going to show you how you can get all of this out of your one sheet. So that's where I'd like to concentrate my time. So what I decided that you needed to do what I did with this is that I made 5 white, whisper white card bases, 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. So that's to make the 5 full-size cards. So let's see, there's 3, 4, there's another one hanging out here someplace. Anyway, you need 5 of those. Then I made 4 3x3 cards. And so I made the bases for the 3x3 cards. Then I needed, I think it is a total of 3 white tops here, or maybe it's 4, and I think I have 2 of them here. You need 4 5 1/4 by 4 inch panels to cover the tops. Then I used 3 old olive card fronts here. 2 of them are 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and one of them is 4 by 5 1/4. And then there are a variety of scraps here, and some of these pieces, I think these are all 2 3/4. Yes, there's 3 of them that are 2 3/4 inches square. And then you need 2 pieces of the old olive that measure 2 inches. This one is by 4 there, and this one is by 4 1/8. and that is to make the tags. Let me show you a little bit about what you get in this. And again, this was my entire waste from that one piece of card. So you can actually get quite a bit out of this. This was actually just a lot of fun, I have to tell you, in order to come up with all of the pieces that I needed to be able to do this. Okay, so the main thing that I want to show you in the video today is how to cut your card base to get all of the pieces that you need to make this. So I'm going to move some of these out of the way, and I've got the main things here that you need to cut, and I've got them measured here on this card base. And these measurements will be listed below. So this piece here on the end is cut at 1 inch and then marked for the entire length of the card base that isn't folded. And I did cut the card base right at the score line. So I cut that in half, so I ended up with 2 pieces. Now this piece here that is 1 inch ends up being the piece you can use for the bottom of this, and virtually that is all you need to make this card. There's a little 1/4 inch piece here on the inside, and you could use this piece here right next to it to get that accomplished. This piece here, I cut from the score line this way, and let me get my little ruler here. So this piece here, I measured at 3 inches by 3 inches from the center of the card over, which left me a 1/4 inch gap here between my 1 inch here and my 3 by 3. And you can take that all the way to the bottom of the card. I didn't. I took it all the way down so that I could end up with a 1/2 inch piece here and another 1 inch piece going to the bottom from here. And that takes care of this card and this card and this tag. So between these pieces here, you should be able to go ahead and put these together. Now, in the area that was left, I used my 2 circle framelets, and what I did, these, you have to remember, have the blades, actually, these have the blades to the inside, not the outside. So setting one here and then another one inside it gets you the wreath that you need for this card. So that plus one of these inch long or inch wide pieces there. Then what I did was I cut a square out of the circle here remaining to make one of the little presents for this card. So this 3 by 3 piece is the one I used behind here to use the pattern paper again, and I just made my own DSP here by using the stamps in the stamp set that come with the Paper Pumpkin set. And let me grab that stamp set here. So have a joyous Christmas and New Year, glad tidings of joy, season's greetings, happiest of holidays to you, and this cute little starburst, and then the 2 snowflakes. And that's 2 snowflakes. I used the cherry cobbler, which comes with your kit, and then I used some old olive, and I used some of the various sequins in the kit to just put that around the card. And the rest of this is from your stash: a little piece of Whisper White, a little bit of old olive, a little bit of ribbon. That might have been prettier with a red ribbon, I don't know. But so far we've cut the pieces that will make parts of all of those. Then I cut the oval using the same schematic here, putting my oval here and here to create the oval that comes on this card. And with this, I just use the embossing folder of the snowflake and sort of set it up and off the page to the left here, and then use this and expand the opening here and raise this on dimensionals. And you could, might be kind of fun to use that same embossing folder on the inside of the card on this side and put a little stamped message on the inside there. Then I used this little corner here, which is 2 inches by 2 inches, and I cut that 2 inches by 2 inches, and I put it on a little piece of paper that was, what is that? The green behind it is right at 2.5, so 2.5 by 2.5. Then I, excuse me, then I cut the piece right in half and pulled those pieces apart and used another of the banners. Now, there's a lot of pieces in the kit that I never even used. There are beautiful gold banners here, which there was an opportunity to use, and I didn't use them, but you could replace any one of these with a gold banner with a little strip of white in between to add some more dressing to the card. So that is this piece. Then I have a little strip that's a 1/2 inch wide, and it could be a place that you could cut out your little 1/2 inch circles out of that paper to make this. Then I used another 1/2 inch strip down here at the bottom of the card for various decorations. And I'm left with this much larger piece in the middle, and that measures, let's see, what does that measure? That measures 4 1/4 at the smallest place by just a little under 2 inches, 1 7/8, and in the larger places, 2 1/2. Is that right? Yeah, 1 7/8 and as much as 2 1/2. And that's where I cut out my other little present, and I cut out my trees. And so this is the schematic that I used to make all of the alternative pieces for this. Again, 1 inch, 1/4 inch, 3 by 3, 1 inch, a 1/2 inch, the 2 circles to make my wreath, and then cut the center into a square, the oval, and use the oval. I use the inside of the oval to put on one of the cards. Where did it go? Let's see. I know I did. Either that or I cut a square out of it. It's an, oh, here it is. I used it on this tag. I used the inside of the oval here on this tag, so nothing goes to waste. Then this piece is 2 by 2, and that makes this little card. This piece is a little, right at a 1/2 inch, so you could get the little circles out of it to make the ornament 3 by 3. And then what's left is this large piece where you can make these kinds of strips and you can get your trees. And it was nothing more than cutting a strip and then angling in, marking the middle of the strip, and then marking in and cutting down on different size trees. And it was really basically out of the scraps that I made the trees. Now on this piece, what I did was I took a piece of white that was 5 1/4 by 4, and I ripped the edge, and I used glossy accents to just put a little bit of glue on the edge of those ragged edges, and then I dipped them into my glitter. And it's the same thing with the card, this card that has glitter on it. I did exactly the same thing. I tore the page all the way around, put glossy accents on it all the way around, and then dipped it into the glitter. The only other thing I used is on this card, I did use the Softly Falling embossing folder, just because I thought it looked too plain without something. And I used some of the pieces here and about 1/4 teaspoon of glitter in there, just to give that shaker card a little something more. I'm sure you can use your imagination to maybe come up with some more. On this one, I don't even have any of the pattern paper. I just used a couple of other pieces inside the kit. So depending on what it is you want to do with this, you can see I made 5 cards, full-size cards, 4 3x3s, and 2 tags. And I still had a tiny bit of paper left over in the end. And so once again, here's the schematic that I cut, 1 inch, 1/4 inch, 3x3, the 2 circles, the square cut out of here, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, the ovals, 2x2, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch, and the balance is left for making strips and trees. I hope you enjoyed this, and as time goes on, I plan to make an alternatives video every time based on the paper pumpkin. So thanks so much for joining me today, and I will put, it's going to be a long description on the bottom because I'm going to put all of the sizes and all of the pieces and the measurements for cutting your paper. And even if you chose only to use 1 card base and you made everything else in the kit, made up the kit, the cards that are in the kit, it would give you all of this extra. And if you decided only to make a couple of the ones in the kits and do this with all of the rest of the paper, you could have quite a few pieces in the end that help you put together all kinds of pieces from the paper pumpkin for this month. I'm saving some of my pieces because next month it is a matching set. I think we're going to get white plaid and white and black plaid, and so I'll be saving a couple of pieces from this kit to mix and match with the other one and see what else I can come up with. So thanks again so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do appreciate it. This kit right now, I think, was 100% sold out. Once people got a look at it, and they made it available for purchase a little later in the month, and I don't know if they're going to do that again or not. But if you sign up by the 10th of, let's see, you had to have signed up by the 10th of November to get the November kit. But Paper Pumpkin has truly stepped up its game, I think. The fall one for October that was the leaves was fantastic. And this one is just amazing. So again, thanks so much for stopping by. And you can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin on my website, www.lbettinger.stampinup.net. And until next time, when I'm back with more projects and more cards, see ya!